Yes, yes, yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Tashir Rasay. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to week 101 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Ah, yes. The road to podcast and assignment 200 has begun. So thank you for everybody who has tuned in today, and definitely everyone who has tuned in over the last 3 years and got us this far. So as I said before, the road to 200 has begun. So speaking of that, what are we doing this week? Well, related to us being just over 100 episodes now, I thought it would be a very cool idea to actually reflect on some of the stuff that we did in the first 100 episodes, in a sense of, let's call this the makeup assignments, your makeup homework, right? And we've all been there. You know, we have missed days at school because of illness, or we were skipping, whatever reason. But we actually had opportunities to actually make up that homework. And the same thing happens here at CMA, at least with this particular podcast. So I went to the people, I said, hey, we don't always get a chance to participate, but how about you go through any of the first 100 assignments, pick an assignment that you were not able to participate in, whether you just weren't here at the time or you just didn't get a chance to handle your business, and turn it in. And we actually have 6 submissions, starting off with a man for some damn reason we don't hear from as often as we should. My man, Stephen G, is back with us. Let's see what he's doing. Moving on to a gentleman that we normally don't see in this position, but it's a refreshing to see what he's going to do with it. And then again, it's not like him being in this position doesn't mean he's going to be lame. So let me go back and retract that statement. Anyhow, my man, Sho-Nuff. Let's go.
It's that feeling deep down inside, feeling good and you don't know why. You know he's yours and you are his. Love is what it is. Well, it flows from heaven above, rests on your shoulder just like a dove, bubbles from your heart like a soda pop fizz. Love is what it is.
Yes. Easily one of the most talented people to be a part of the crew. My man, Sho-Nuff. And that was actually episode, or I should say assignment number 98, the interpolation assignment, which turned out very nice. That assignment in full, I mean, that podcast in full, and definitely his contribution for the makeup assignment. Very, very nice. And he said right away, he said, I would definitely know the assignment. I'm sorry, not the assignment, the interpolation. I do know it. I can't name it. It's the doom doom boom doom 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 doom. I cannot remember who that is for the life of me. And I'm sitting here like, oh God. That's like Jill Scott, The Roots. That's what I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure. But I definitely know that song. I know it. But yeah, man, I love the usage of that particular sample. Well, not sample because it's an interpolation. He replayed it. And then everything that he did along with it. I mean, he says in his submission, he wanted to have more of a live feel. So, you know, like an actual band played it. And, you know, like a couple of other people at CMA, dude is an incredible musician. He is great with instrumentation. Because if I'm not mistaken, I know he plays piano. I think he plays guitar as well, maybe drums. If not drums, I know he's just great at excuse me, he's great at banging the pads on machine, and dude is incredible. But I love the feel, I love the sound of this particular track, man. Jeez, he did his thing. It's great to have you here, Sho, for real. Excellent submission, my man. All right, moving on to Fairfield, California. My man, RTO Beats. Let's go. West Coast representing. Woo. I didn't even have to introduce that dude and say where he was from. You could tell. Jeez, oh Pete. Ugh, RTO Beats. That was actually assignment number 99, Rep Your City. And, you know, as I've said plenty of times, Ronnie, RTO, is from Fairfield, California. Originally from Oakland, not that far away. And he specifically said that he wanted to do, You know, he wanted to represent Oakland, and as he says in his submission, 1996 Oakland mob music. And he has a number of names in here. So peep these: Mike Mosley, One Drop Scott, Funk Beta, Sam Bostic, Drew Down, the Loonies, E40, CBO, RBL Posse. Shout out to them. Jeez, last time you heard that name. Master P when he was living in Richmond, and 3 Times Crazy. And yeah, there's a number of names that I'm familiar with and I was fans of in that whole period where the West Coast had just rose up and just took over the industry. It was all about the West Coast. Man. And this track right here represents the West Coast, I should say that territory or region, and that time perfectly. I mean, starting out, that was one thing I really, really loved about the West Coast, is they actually had some East Coast elements as far as like dirty break beats, you know, in their joints. And then they actually broke off into like what many will call the G-Funk type style. And that's what I really appreciate about this track. He did just that. He had the really dope break beat. I know Wallace is over there like, yeah. Wallace probably is throwing up the thumbs up right now. But yeah, it had the really dope break beat in there. Had a, you know, a little pattern in the beginning as the intro, and then kicked in with the realness, with the real drums and the synths and the bass and all that stuff. And I was like, oh man, that took me back. That took me back to, at that time, I was out of high school. I was working, trying to, actually 96. Yeah. I was in my first apartment at that point. And, you know, working every day and driving. And this was the type of stuff that I would listen to while I was driving, because it was this, and it was still cats on the East Coast that I was listening to. And that's when the South had just started coming up too. Boy, excellent submission, man. I loved everything about it. Way to represent, my man. All right, let's take it down south to South Carolina. Our man, DJ Nocturnal. Let's go. DJ Nocturnal. My. Yeah, that was sick. Shout out for that, my man. Yeah, that was episode, or I should say assignment 32 for him. He went back and did the very first, I think that was the very first cartoon / TV assignment that we did, where I think in 2014, I believe I actually put it together where you can do TV theme songs and you can include it in cartoons with that. But we did the cartoons and the TV theme songs separately in year 1, 2013. But man, that was the theme from Gargoyles. Shout out to anybody that used to watch Gargoyles in the 90s. Holy crap, that was a dope series. Even more, I believe, if I remember correctly, I know now his voice, but if I'm not mistaken, Keith David did the intro and maybe one of the voices on there of one of the Gargoyles. But Keith David is one of my voiceover idols, so to speak, because you know I do voiceovers as well. That is one of my idols. Dude is one of the L-list voices of all time. If you're not sure who I'm speaking of, look him up. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head as an acting role that I can think of would be Dead Presidents. He was the old man in Dead Presidents. You know, if you haven't seen that movie, go look that up. That was a very cool movie. But yeah, look up Keith David, listen to his voice, and you understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, this dude, Nocturnal, goes back and picks up one of the greatest TV series or cartoon series in television history. I loved this submission. Locks, samples, chops on point, drums, sequencing, instrumentation on point. Dude has grown tremendously over the last year and some. And I'm very happy to have him a part of CMA because he kills it every week. I think right now, yeah, actually, I know right now he's like the #1 dude as far as the number of submissions. I don't know if he's missed more than, say, like 2 or 3 submissions, if that. So he's like the guy right now. Jeez, man. But yeah, way to rip that, man. Holy crap. I love the chops on that. I love the sequencing. I love the different chains ups and everything you had. And there was a couple different things going on throughout the track. Woo, excellent submission, my man. Thank you. All right, moving on to our man, Taurus Beats. Let's go. Wow, 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 wow. Taurus Beats. That was actually episode or assignment number 6. He took it back almost to the beginning, 2013. That was our video game music assignment. And I don't think in that one, we were actually sampling. I think I just told people to create organic music that would be that they would feel would be in a video game. And we actually did pretty good on that assignment from what I remember. But yeah, he went back and did that. I got to give it up. This sounds like something that would definitely be in. I've only played one of these games, but possibly the Final Fantasy series, possibly, definitely has an RPG feel and tone. RPG role-playing game. Definitely has that. It really reminds me, the only Final Fantasy game I've ever played was number 7. And that was because, as a lot of people, we got pulled in watching the commercials and seeing like the cutscenes, like, man. And that was like, oh, wow, 97, 98, I think, when Final Fantasy 7 came out. So, you know, we were rocking PS1s back then, PlayStation 1. And I remember seeing that commercial like, man, the graphics look like that. Oh, and I went and picked it up and I was just like, oh, because that was only on the cutscenes. And then when you actually got to the fighting and the going through the map and stuff like that, it was a completely different. I was pissed. But yeah, that kind of reminds me of a Final Fantasy track. Very, very dope. A lot of really dope orchestral elements in that particular track. And shout out for like the timing and the swing on that track. Man, something like that. Woo, that was nice. Nice, cool, mellow, again, mood music. You know what I'm saying? That's what Taurus is all about. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Shout out for that submission, my man. Jeez, oh, Pete. And now to the finale of the Make-Up Assignment podcast. My man, Mr. Wallace.
Double negative.
When we go to sleep, what happens?
Amazing things happen when we sleep because we are in a state of consciousness that is unbounded by physicality, space, and time. We can go anywhere, and we do, every night when we sleep. Many people don't pay attention to their dreams because they don't make sense. And yet dreams do make sense. If you take the time to understand them, they make the ultimate sense in terms of the truth about you, your life, and what you're doing with your life. Many of our dreams are about daily life concerns, and other kinds of dreams really take us out into the cosmos, into the astral plane. Spiritual guides and masters. We have incredible out-of-body experiences. We can even have a direct contact with God.
Yes, yes, Mr. Wallace, closing out weekly homework assignment number 101, the makeup assignments. That was episode or assignment number 62, which is from 2014. That was Music is Life, or Life Music. And didn't have much to say in the description except for, just let him complete his thought. And man, that was nice. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that was more of a lucid dream kind of thing. And, if you've heard the term lucid dream, it's more of you're in control of your dreams. They're very vivid. I'll say that. And you really, you live. A lucid dream is a dream, but it feels a lot like reality, especially in the sense of you're supposed to have control over it, that kind of thing. Or you're just so deep into it, like a euphoria or an acid trip or something like that. But it's just a dream. And real talk, listening to the music that is there, yeah. Everything that's within this track, including the sound bite, from that interview of the lady that's speaking. Jeez, man, everything about this track definitely represents that. And dreams are life, it's dream music, so to speak. But man, I loved everything about that. That was definitely a different approach to a beat or an assignment that a little different from what Wallace would normally take or anyone else has taken. So shout out for that. I loved the soundscape. I love everything about this track. Very, very nice, my man. Wow. This turned out to be a very good podcast. And we have that very solid core of the crew of the cast that just come through and just kick out heat every single week. So shout out to Mr. Wallace, Taurus Beats, DJ Nocturnal, RTO Beats, Sho-Nuff, and Stephen G. And also thank you, the watcher, the listener, the people who watches our videos, leaves comments, shares our videos, and just being a part of what we do every single week. If you would like to be a part of what we do, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It is that simple. I'm done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will talk to you next time. See ya.